Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here and welcome back to my channel, and today's video, in which was about to be a Sims video, but whilst I was on stream yesterday, there was this big whole palaver and everyone seems to have instantly found this new life simulation game, which is called People of Newbery, and basically it seems to be along the same lines as The Sims and Paralives, and I knew that this was just going to turn into another Paralives situation with all of you asking me whether I had seen the news if I didn't make a video on it. So I've decided to sit down and record my reaction to all the little trailers that are on their YouTube channel. These were uploaded a month ago. I don't know why it was only yesterday that this exploded within the simming community, but I got off stream and literally all I saw on Twitter was, have you seen People of Newbery? Oh my god, it looks like GTA meets The Sims meets Paralives meets all of these things. And so I thought I would hold off watching everything and just kind of give my reactions to you guys. Also, there is a little bit of word on the street about LGBT relationships within this game, and as we all know, that interests me as a creator and as a gamer myself, so I thought, why don't we do a little discussion video on it? So this is their YouTube channel. Apparently they had 200 subscribers at the beginning of yesterday, and now they have 3,500. So this has literally exploded within the simming community, and they have a couple of trailers. So this is the first one, People of the Newbery. That's the new official teaser. Then there's some character animations, male, female creation, create and edit nature, animals, and northern lights. Let's see what we got. I don't know if it's meant to be. Wow, this is really loud. I don't know if it's meant to be blurry. I guess it is. It's focusing on this leaf. I really hope that this isn't copyright music. I'm actually just gonna mute it. A tricycle? Hell yeah, give me a tricycle. The graphics kind of remind me of a Life is Strange game. I'm fairly sure this is made using Unity, the Unity engine, so... And I don't know if Life is Strange was actually, but the actual graphics kind of do remind me of Life is Strange. US male. So it's set in the US. I think the creator is Russian though, which is an important note to make. Nah, this is creepy. It's giving me creepy vibes. It had a nice song, and then as soon as I muted it, I was like, oh no, I hate this. That just looks like you can tell that I've been watching yoga. Yeah, when that door opens, that was oh god, what am I about to walk into? I don't think I want to go into this house. Then we've got the People of Newbery character animation, which honestly, this does kind of look like GTA. It gives me a GTA vibe. I don't know if I like it. She looks too realistic. She's just staring at me. She looks like she could throw me into next week, and usually I'm a fan of that, but she's just slightly intimidating. If this game eventually does come out, then it the character creation looks pretty good. So this is the male character creation. Honestly, this guy kind of reminds me of not there. I was gonna say he reminds me of newbies, Bob Newby in The Sims 2, but definitely not there. You know what? It's kind of giving me... Jesus Christ, that 8-pack. I'm sorry. That's slightly distracting. It kind of reminds me... This is gonna sound so shady, but just the way it's laid out reminds me of Tony Hawk's Underground. But the characters look better. Arm thickness. See, I'm not a massive fan of sliders, I have to say. I much prefer how The Sims 4 does it with click and drag. I just prefer that. I think with sliders, it's really hard to make things look different. It's why all the Sims in The Sims 3 look exactly the same as each other, because I just think sliders are really hard to work with, and you don't get that many unique looking people with it. So we've got eyes, outer color and inner color. That's cool. I don't know, it just doesn't look like a life simulation game to me. It gives me the vibe of GTA and those types of games where character creation isn't a main feature. It's just kind of what you can do in the game just to set up a character. I don't know why. 2021 seems like super not that far away, so that kind of concerns me a bit. Don't worry, we will be discussing like the validity of all of this. I just want to react to the trailers first. And this is the female. Whoa, that booty. Okay, she got a little sway in the hips. I see you. Oh my word. So again, 135, 181 presets. Are you okay? I don't think we need that many presets. I don't think I need like over 200 presets. I'm just gonna throw it out there. That is terrifying. If I jumped straight into a game and it was like, here's 400 presets for you to choose from, I'd just be like, nope, this is too much. This is too much responsibility, and I don't think I can go through this. Iris size, okay. Pupil size. One thing about sliders is sliders give more freedom when it comes to creating things. Like obviously in The Sims 4, like you can drag that irises out, but you can't do like pupil size and stuff. So sliders kind of give you a bit more control over that type of stuff, but yeah, to me, it doesn't give you enough, like, moldability within the actual facial features. I always find, like, noses and chins and lips always look the same when it's a slider scenario. And those are also, like, the features that, like, really affect someone's face. Like, I feel like the nose is such a prominent part and, like, jaw of how someone looks and, like, their facial structure. And so that's what I never liked about The Sims 3, is that all of my Sims look the same due to having the construct of a slider. Oh, I don't like this. This is too technical for me. Like, this is like Planet Zoo, like where you have like all the axles and like you're working on all these different axes. It's way too technical for me. I mean, I'm sure builders would like this, but I'm just worried about this because everything is so zoomed in and like you legit cannot see the UI or anything. And I know it's very early in development, but that scares me. The fact that everything's so zoomed in, I'm like, this makes me think that this might not be as legit as I know people want it to be. Because like, why would you crop in so distinctly? I feel like this is just working on Unity Engine, just like messing around in like creative mode and like not actually a real representation of how a game could be. Then we have animals, which honestly, whenever anyone says like, yeah, animals are gonna be in base game, I know I shouldn't be suspicious of it because obviously that's just me being used to, like, ever since The Sims 1, having, like, the Sims Unleashed and having pets as a paid-for expansion. And I know that's, like, that's the simmer in me being like, can animals be done well if we aren't paying extra for them? Which I know shouldn't be, like, my standard because, honestly, that's just, like, consumerism to its peak. But also, it does make me wonder, especially like horses. Like, horses are a big thing. Like, we've seen it with Paralives, like cats and dogs, and I think maybe horses are coming in the base game. And at first, I was very skeptical of Paralives, but the fact that they like have a full studio and they have people working on it, like, it's now evolving into a game and we're seeing the updates behind it, whereas this is very like slap up this trailer and we'll see how it goes down. And there's also currently only one person working on it, I think. Also deers, like, I don't know, that makes me scared because I'm like, can you interact with it? Can you own a deer? Or is this just like an environment thing? I should turn this down. Like, is this just... Because Sims 3 had deers, I think, like, roaming around. What is this little fecker? Is that a rabbit? I love rabbits. I miss owning a rabbit. I used to have rabbits when growing up. Oh, and there is a Discord. Okay, this is a cat. Like, everything just looks really blurry, and I have a feeling, like, this isn't 1080p, and I have a feeling it's because they're so zoomed in on it, and I'm also like, why are you so zoomed in? The little Chuk, though! Oh my goodness, that's adorable. Honestly, horses can get fuck. It sounds so bad, but I'm so scarred from The Sims 3 horses. I loved horse riding. I loved being able to like go and race your horse. Love that. However, having random spawns of horses was terrifying, and you cannot fight that. It was terrifying, and I used to be a horse girl, so hey, I already admitted it on stream last night, so you know what? I grew up riding horses, so be it if I was the horse girl at 11 years old. But yeah, like, having random horses, and it just overrode like everything. If your sim had a horse in their household, all they'd want to do was like muck it out, feed it water, go pet it. It overrode everything in the game, which is why I've always been thoroughly against having horses in The Sims 4. Also, it's not an open world. Oh, is that a little pity? I love pit bulls. Okay, so those are the animals. And then last but not least, we have the Northern Lights, which again kind of doesn't make sense because, like, if it's in America, which is suggested, and I know loads of people were like, why are the Northern Lights in Evergreen Harbor? Because isn't it set in America? Which is true. But also, like, technically, like, The Sims could be wherever you want it to be. It's just very American-centric, isn't it? Love this porch, though. That is a real cute-ass porch. Like, this is, like, cottagecore dreams right here. Like, I'm just imagining a girl spinning around in her strawberry dress. Super cute porch. I would like all of the plants on this porch, please. And then it turns to night. Night looks really pretty. And again, there's the Northern Lights, which I guess if you want to put the Northern Lights in America, feel free. And then the moon. We all know that sometimes the community can get carried away with things. Like, I don't know how many of you remember Project Vi. I don't know how it was ever meant to be pronounced. They basically created a video of their character creation, and then Project V like ended up getting banned off Twitter because it got reported so many times and it was all fake. It wasn't real. They had just like done a model design in Unity, I think, and it wasn't real. And the whole community were like, Vi is gonna live up to the Sims 4. Like, oh my god, Sims 4 is finally gonna become better because it has some competition in Project V. And then it just like died out because it wasn't legit, which is why I think I'm always skeptical of like new life simulation games that claim that they're going to be competition for The Sims 4. That's how I felt about Paralives at first, because when Paralives like first burst out onto the scene, obviously the community was comparing it to The Sims 4 and was like, oh my god, Sims 4 is quaking in its boots, like Paralives is going to take over. But I think Paralives has found its niche now. I think Paralives knows that it's an indie development studio. It knows that it's an indie game. It's found its footing. It has like such a unique art style against The Sims 4. Like, you can very much tell that they have become like way more confident in themselves, and they're not constantly like trying to tear down The Sims 4. They're not constantly saying like, we're putting everything into this game that The Sims 4 doesn't have. They're just looking at the feedback from the current biggest life simulation game and are like, okay, how could we work on this so that our game is something that we want to produce and we want to be proud of? Whereas this, I am skeptical about, because right now they're just very cropped in teasers, which I've already talked about. Like, why aren't you showing the UI? Yeah, it may not be done yet, but also like seems a bit weird to not show any of that. And then also, I did actually see a tweet today, which was very interesting. So Ian Siegel, aka Julian, aka one of my favorite people on the planet. I love Julian so much. He's obviously made a video on it. He's super like up to date with news on life simulation games, and I will link his video down below if you guys want to go check it out. But someone replied to Julian. This was Bian? I'm sorry if I don't know how to pronounce your name. I think it's a scam. I put the bedroom picture in the Google Lens and a screenshot of a YouTube video of someone making the exact same room appeared. So this is like intriguing. So this was basically tweeted on the Newbery game official account. So this was the YouTube video that someone had built in Unity. I don't know how Unity works. I've never used Unity in my life, but this looks like someone has just used the Unity program to kind of create this set. And this is, it's very similar. Let's throw it out there. So unless this is the same person and like this was maybe their test, I don't know for this, but then why would they recolor it? Like this is like green. They've kind of like recolored the mat to be a blue instead of a black. Like either this is the same person and they've just recolored it and moved forward with this idea that they had, or this is someone who has downloaded this original room and is now just tweeting it from the account and is saying like, hey, this is our game, when really it's just from this video and they've basically just downloaded it from Unity and are not giving credit to the original person who created it on Unity. So this was definitely interesting to me because as soon as I saw this, I started questioning the validity of this whole thing. So the creator is apparently Russian. I only know this from like tweets I've seen and people talking about it on Twitter. I actually haven't done any digging myself. So I shouldn't call it digging. I mean like research. I haven't really looked into it too much. So if the creator is Russian, I understand why they would not have LGBT content in their game. It is basically illegal in Russia to be LGBTQ+. I just want to clarify, it's technically not illegal, like there's not any laws that allow you to not be LGBTQ+, but there also aren't any laws that stop people discriminating against LGBTQ+ people, and it is very much looked down upon and people don't agree with it, which is horrific in of itself. It's why we still have pride. It's why we fight for the rights of our community, because everyone should be free to love who they love. Like, anyway. And I don't think it's been 100% like verified whether it will or won't. I just think people have like asked the creator and they've refused to acknowledge those questions. And so people are like, oh, this isn't going to have LGBT content, which we don't know. Like all of this is very much speculation at this point. This is just from what I've seen on my Twitter timeline, as I said. However, for me personally, I can't see myself purchasing or playing this game, especially to an audience, if it doesn't have LGBTQ+ content. And I might get comments that are like, God, why do you always go on about being gay? Why do you always have to make everything about your sexuality? And it's because I, like majority of the people on Earth, enjoy playing games, watching content, consuming media that sort of reflects me in a way. You know, I very much enjoy consuming content that I can relate to and I can feel things for. I'm a very like emotional person. I will create emotional ties with stories that sit within myself or my family or my friends. And also with it being a life simulation, same-sex relationships and LGBTQ+ content is a part of life. I would be very worried if a game created in 2020 did not have that included from the get-go. From my personal choice, I don't see myself getting much engagement out of that game or enjoyment, because you've all seen it, like ever since my coming out, my content has just got gayer and gayer, and that's because I, for one, enjoy playing those types of stories, and two, I know how important those stories are to tell, and to have someone on the internet being like, hey, I'm 26 years old, I am happily comfortable in myself, and I want like younger people or older people who aren't quite as comfortable in their sexuality as me, I want them to know that they have a place on the internet where they can come and find these stories if they need them, and they can feel like they're represented, and that not everything is a deep, dark, dingy hole of being ashamed or feeling and getting kicked out of your home, feeling like down about yourself. I want there to be that space for them. And so my channel currently is that, and that's the way I always want it to be. Playing a game like this isn't gonna do that for me, you know? It ain't gonna float my boat. So basically, that's where I'm at with all of this. That was a rant and a half, but I feel like it needs to be discussed, because we discuss like LGBT content in Paralives as well, and obviously it's super important to me, and I know it's important to a lot of you guys who do watch my videos, so I always want to make these types of videos when there are news about these things. Tell me how you're feeling about it. Honestly, I'm just gonna say, do not get your hopes up until at least more content comes out and like starts to confirm that this is real and this is a viable project. Don't get your hopes up too soon. I know the graphics look pretty, and I know that everyone wants as many life simulation games as possible right now. And I do think that like we are starting to see a trend where people are trying to take that on, especially with like simulation games such as Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster doing really well, and obviously The Sims 4 is still currently booming. Like, they are still having new players join every single month. It's still a big game, even though we all have our gripes with it. And I think we are starting to see like a trend of gaming developers be like, you know what? I feel like we can maybe find our feet in this. Like, it's no longer so much of a monopoly and not everyone is playing The Sims. So I'm really excited for what the future is going to hold for life simulation games. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let me know how you feel about People of Newbery down below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Let me know, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye, guys.